Hey everybody, and welcome to the channel and to the Ultimate Racing League with our sponsors W.GG, the energy drink for gamers, and Eldridge Air Conditioning. And well, looking out the window, it looks like we might be needing some of that soon. It is starting to warm up, thankfully, after the deep freeze we had at the weekend. Anyway, hope everybody's okay and ready and raring to go. I know I am. Looking forward to this. This is week 2 of our Sunday Championship, most popular championship in the Ultimate Racing League. I'm with the League 3 guys, and we are in the Suzuki Swift, the GR4 Suzuki Swift. Fantastic little car. This week we are in Switzerland, and we are at the Deep Forest Raceway. It's fictional track, 2.6 miles, 18 turns. No corner names, unfortunately, because it is fictional. But we might make some up as we go along, eh? Who knows? So we're going to go down the grid. The guys have been out there doing a bit of qualifying, and I think I'm not sure what's happening on the grid. We've got Brownie on pole, but when we do the grid walks, I just have had a quick look. It looks like Harry Poppins is out in front, so we'll see what's occurring there. So let's have a look, shall we? And have a bit of a walk down the grid. Yeah, you can see we've got Harry Poppins is up there in the front, but according to the actual grid itself, it should be Brownie. We're not bothered really, are we? As long as we see some good racing. But anyway, there's Harry Poppins. I'm sure it'll sort itself out as the race gets underway. Then in fantastic livery for Frowny. I don't know who it was that we created. Oh, I do. It was me. But that's Frowny in the Iron Force livery. He's, according to the grid, on pole, but he's currently sitting in second. Then we've got Wayne G in third in the mild 7. That's Wayne G. Then we've got Scott just sat behind him in fourth. And it looks like he's got his partner, Bazza, just behind him as well. So that's fifth then for Bazza. Aussie Rooster is in sixth. I love this livery as well, the little two-tone black and grey with a splash of red on it. It does look pretty cool, actually, doesn't it? So that's Bazza. Aussie Rooster just behind him in sixth, Wayne G's teammate. Then we go down and we have Thingamajig, and he's in the two-tone red, black, sorry, two-tone. The black and grey with a splash of red on it. And Thingamajig, if you didn't know, is a commentator who covers League of Champions. Fantastic commentator as well. So if you want to see some good racing and listen to some good comms, then head over to Thingamajig's racing channel on YouTube, and yeah, you'll really enjoy that. So I definitely suggest you head over there and subscribe to his channel and have a listen. You'll love it. So that's Thingamajig. In eighth, then we've got Pete in the second of the Martinis. Going a bit further down, we've got Enzo Jack in I think that's NASCAR. It is a NASCAR livery. Enzo Jack. 10th is Dizzy Rip in the Liqui Moly. 11th is Phaser in the Red Bull, and 12th is Mole Piece, and then DB. I got myself a little bit mixed up there then. I think DB's there. It's probably because of the mess we've got up at the front. So that's why DB's down at the back. Well, it's not. It's because he qualified at the back. But what I'm saying is the order's messed up. Never mind. Let's come out of this, shall we? And if I can get the right button. I'm all in 6s and 7s this morning, so apologies for that. So we'll get this race underway, shall we? It is, what is it, 16 laps? I'm just trying to work out what that quotes to. I think it's about 25 minutes. So it's 16 laps around this Deep Forest track. We will get this one underway, shall we? I'm hoping that things will sort themselves out, because you can see that Harry Poppins has got the blue flag being waved at him. Now, it may be that Harry Poppins did actually qualify on pole, and Frowny should have been in second, and it's the grid that's messed up, but who knows. But they are off and racing now, and well, we'll see how we get out. I'm sure they'll sort it out. I've got my brew here. I suggest if you haven't got one, pause it and go and get one. So we'll keep swigging that, so apologies for that. But Harry Poppins out in front then, with Frowny just sitting behind him. Wayne G in third. Scott is in fourth. Bazzary's teammate in fifth. Then we've got Aussie Rooster, Thingamajig, Pete, Enzo Jack, Dizzy Rip in 10th, Phaser, Molepiece and DB. So they're all forming a nice little snake as we go through these early few turns. Just getting those tyres warmed up, just getting a feel of the car, getting a feel of the track. Around turn 10, a couple of good long straights on this one. We've just gone around turn 10, through turns 11, 12 and 13. Well, they're more like kinks in the road, but we do go through these tunnels. You've got two long tunnels, and then at the end of this second tunnel we come to turn 14, which is bit of a pig to say the least. It is a really tight left-hand hairpin, and is usually the place where most accidents take place because people either spin out or can't slow the car down. But these guys seem to have well, they've got it tamed, haven't they? Everybody through there incident free. Not well, I don't know, don't make great viewing, does it? We like to see the odd bump, but it's good for these guys. Keeps them all on track, facing the right way. So back up to the top then, let's have a look. Harry Poppins still out in front, Frowny all over him as they go into turn 1. Sweeping left hander, being very careful with the power. And Frowny is practically pushing Harry Poppins along. He's not going to let him get away, is he? Tyres are all going to be on the softs for this one. So those two just starting to open up a little bit of a gap now back to Bazza. Bazza's still got his teammate behind him, so maybe those two are working together, trying to keep everybody else behind. Wayne G is in 5th. He's dropped down, hasn't he, a couple of places. So Wayne G's had a bit of an issue somewhere. He's got Aussie Rooster for company. Let's jump on board with Aussie Rooster as we hit turn 10. Now this is a bit of a penalty zone, turn 10. If you go drifting too far out there onto the right, that is where you're going to pick up your penalties. And Aussie Rooster now tucked right under that rear wing of Wayne G. Wayne G forcing him to go the long way round if he wants to take this place. Wayne G defending as we head towards the hairpin and turn 14. Trying to get that car slowed down. Thingamajig coming in hot. And they're round. Wayne G just staying in front of Aussie Rooster, but Aussie Rooster tucked right underneath again into the slipstream as they come down towards the start-finish line for the second time. Now Wayne G, is he going to defend it again or not? Well, it looks like Aussie Rooster is just quite happy to just sit there, tucked right underneath Wayne G. Now he moves and has a look up the inside, but is this a genuine attempt? I don't think it is. Aussie Rooster there backed out. You could see there was going to be a bit of a collision. I didn't think that was a genuine attempt at a move because he wasn't really pushing. So I think Aussie's quite happy to just sit there behind Wayne G at the minute and get a bit of a free tow. Thingamajig is sitting in 7th. I think this is Thingamajig's first race. I am pretty right in saying it's just he didn't race last week for some reason. I think he was working. That damn pesky work getting in the way, or a bit of lag for Thingamajig. It's either that or one of the wheels are loose. We'll keep an eye on that car. We don't want him crashing with the wheels falling off, do we? But we'll see how Thingamajig gets on. Pete sitting in 8th. That's looking a bit more stable. Enzo Jack in 9th. Dizzy Rip 10th with Phaser, Molepiece and DB bringing up the rear. Still relatively close though. No massive gaps opening up. As DB has a bit of a cheeky look up the inside of Molepiece there, but didn't quite fancy it as they hit that hairpin. So DB is just going to sit behind Molepiece, I think. Might look at making the move as they come down towards turn 1 if he can get close enough and get in the slipstream. Although this slipstream, I don't think it's really helping them that much. Let's just have a look. We'll just stick with them through the next 1 or 2 turns. But DB's, he's not going to make a move, is he, on Molepiece? Didn't pull out. There was no real attempt there. Excuse me. not fizzy pop, it's just coffee, so I don't know why it's giving me a bit of the old gas there. Apologies for that. Back up to the top then and see what's happening, and Harry Poppins still out in front, but he's still got Frowny stuck to his backside as we're going around turn 9 there into turn 10, keeping it nice and tight. Nobody's picked up any penalties yet, surprisingly enough. Bazza sitting in third, he's still got his teammate Scott behind him, so those two, well, I don't know if they're helping each other out, and I don't know if there's any kind of team orders. Wayne G, it looks like Wayne G's got a penalty. He has, he's just about to serve it. That penalty zone being in the middle of the second tunnel. So Wayne G is on the inside of Peter. Pete's trying to go around the outside of the hairpin. Has he got it done? No, Wayne G has just managed to nick that spot back. He had the inside line. No room whatsoever for Pete to get round there. It was a good effort. He just sort of caught up to the back of Wayne G after Wayne served that penalty. It probably caught Pete out, to be honest. Wasn't expecting to be making a move there, but he went for it nevertheless. Wayne G now having to defend. He's got Pete all over him. He's got Enzo Jack just sitting in the background waiting for a mistake from one of these two. But Wayne G nice and tight through turn 1, not giving anybody any opportunities. If Pete or Enzo Jack want to take P7 away from Wayne, they're going to have to work pretty hard to get it. Wayne G's not just going to give that place away. Let's just have a look a bit further up, shall we, and see what's happening. Bazza in third. We've got no change up at the top. It's still Harry Poppins and Frowny. Bazza still in third with Scott, his teammate, in fourth, and now the gaps are starting to appear. So Bazza and Scott, they're on their own. Then just behind is Aussie Rooster with Thingamajig chasing him down. Thingamajig's not letting Aussie Rooster get away. Still wobbling from side to side is Thingamajig. Wayne G's teammate has now managed to catch up. So whether Thingamajig, again, we don't know about team orders, so it could be that Thingamajig moves over and lets Wayne go through, or Wayne holds up the traffic so that Thingamajig can get away. Oh, it's got a bit cold now. So yeah, that's going to be an interesting one to see what happens between Thingamajig and Wayne G. Pete in 8. Well, he's got no such luxuries as having his teammate alongside him. He is a bit. Is he further up the field? Yes, he is. Then we've got Dizzy Rip. He's having a bit of a battle with Enzo Jack. Seems in little pockets. The racings. We've got Dizzy Rip and Enzo Jack having a bit of a go at each other. We've got Phaser and Molepiece. They're having their own private little battle, and unfortunately DB not really getting into this race at the minute, down in 13th. We're on lap 6, so this one and 10 more to go, so still a long way. So DB could make up some ground and get back onto the back of the pack. We shall see. It's Team Iron Force is part of my team, so I'm really rooting for him. So come on, DB. Himself and Frowny. So Iron Force at the top and the bottom of this this grid. Oh, Frowny, it just looks like Frowny's picked up a penalty. He's just served that, so that's going to allow Bazza to get a little bit closer. Now he's Frowny's got the two teammates all over the back of him. We've got Bazza and Scott. Tucked right underneath the rear wing of Frowny now. Frowny, well, he's going to have his eyes on that mirror, isn't he? He doesn't want to let Bazza through, although he could end up splitting the two teammates up. Bazza right underneath Frowny, and he's having a look now. Bazza trying to position that car on the inside. Scott looks like he's going to follow his teammate through. Let's follow him into turn 1. Frowny just ahead, but Bazza has got the inside line. Frowny going to go around the outside and manages to hold on to it. Fantastic racing from Frowny. Kept that car under control, kept himself in P2. But Bazza's not settling for that. He's still pushing. Scott following him through as well. Let's jump on board with Scott so we can see what's happening just ahead. You can see Bazza is really all over, piling the pressure on Frowny. Frowny dealing with it pretty well, actually, with these two guys chasing him down. I need another quick swig of coffee. It's cold as well. We're going to have to finish that off in a second. So through turn 10 then, trying to keep it within track limits. If we just have a look behind at Aussie Rooster, there is a bit of distance there, so Scott's not really got any pressure on him at the minute. They can just concentrate on piling the pressure on Brownie. Bazza now pulls alongside, so it is Bazza and Frownie going into turn 14 side by side. Frownie on the inside though. Bazza maybe looking at the cutback. He's not going to get it done, is he? Fantastic racing from Frownie, held his line, defended that corner really well. Bazza just getting so frustrated. Down towards the start finish line they go. It is full throttle, foot planted firmly on the noisy pedal. Brownie again goes defensive, lets Bazza know where he's going to position that car on the inside, and then just drifts back onto the racing line so he can make this turn. But Scott, he's decided to take over from Bazza, and he's going to have a go. So maybe a bit of a message over the radio there, and Bazza said, look, I'm getting nowhere, mate, you have a go at him. So Scott and Bazza have just done a quick swap over through turn 1, and it's now Scott's turn to see if he can get by Frownie and put the pressure on him. Bazza's just tucked underneath Scott, so he's now getting the free toe. We're going to have to have a look and see what else is going on, but I really want to come back to these two, because I bet your life as soon as we leave, something's going to happen. We're just going to follow them through the tunnel. They've gone around turn 10. Let's just follow them through the tunnel, shall we, down towards turn 14. And if the movie's going to get made, it's going to get made down here, isn't it? Or at turn 14. So if we go on board with Brownie, then you can just see Scott is having a look at the inside. Oh, and Scott has got himself in there. Scott positioned his car perfectly, got on the inside. Nothing Frownie could do about that. Fantastic racing from Scott to take P2. Frownie now into P3 with Bazza just behind him in 4th. So Frownie now splits the two teammates up, but he is coming back. He's going to have another go, I think. Let's just try on. Frownie pulls to the outside. It's Scott's turn to defend. Frownie's going to go and try all the way around the outside, side by side around turn 1. It is Scott and Frownie still side by side. Fantastic racing from these guys, and Frownie just gets his nose in front as they go into turns 2 and 3 and 4. Frownie retakes that P2. Fantastic racing from these guys. We are going to go down and see what's happening elsewhere, but we will come back. Aussie Rooster in 5th. Wayne G in 6th. I thought Wayne G might have been able to just make his way through the pack a little bit quicker than this, but he's being frustrated, isn't he? Thingamajig. Oh, a 1 second penalty for Thingamajig. That is not what you need around here. That is going to hurt, and I think Pete is going to be able to take that position away from Thingamajig now. You can see the bar starting to fill up. So as he goes into the second tunnel, Thingamajig will serve that penalty, and I think that's going to allow Pete to go through. Let's just have a look. Brakes are on for Thingamajig, penalty served, and Pete's just got the momentum to carry him through down towards turn 14. And round he goes, so Pete takes P7, although Thingamajig is going to fight back now. He's tucked underneath Pete's rear wing. So penalty served, and Thingamajig now looking at taking P7 away from Pete again. Down towards turn 1, across the start-finish line. 147, 148 miles an hour, and then hard on the brakes to make this left-hander. Pete will be looking at trying to open up a bit of a gap. He wants to get some distance between himself and Thingamajig so he can concentrate on trying to catch up to the back of Aussie Rooster. Dizzy Rip in 9th. Bit lonely for him at the minute. He can see Thingamajig just up ahead, so it'll give him something to aim at. Then we've got Enzo Jack down in 10th. Phaser is 11th. Well, he hasn't really got into this, has he? Phaser has been doing so well in the Saturdays and the Wednesdays. He just seems to be getting quicker and quicker every time you see him, but he's not really managed to get a foothold in this race, has he? down in 11th. We've still got 7 laps to go, well 6.5 laps to go, so still a bit of time for Phaser to make a few places up. Molepiece down in 12th with DB in 13th. DB, another one, never really got started in this race. There is another one after this, so hopefully they can use this one as a bit of a practice, and they'll come back even stronger for race 2. But back up to the top, Harry Poppins now has opened up that gap, and he's pulling away from Scott. Scott and Frowney just seem to be swapping between P2 and P3. Bazza just sitting there in the background in P4, watching his teammate battling away with Frowney, and at the minute Scott has he's got the lead of this little group. Bazza could just keep the pressure on Frowney. Maybe it will give Scott a chance to get away, but Frowney, I don't think he's even looked in his mirror. He's just concentrating on the back of Scott's car, and he's interested in one thing, isn't he? And that is just getting that P2 back. All the while these are fighting though, Harry Poppins is just getting further and further and further away. So I don't think they're going to be able to catch up with him unless he does something ridiculous. So the battle really is on to see who else is going to be joining Harry Poppins on the podium. At the minute it's Scott and Frowney. We don't know what order they're going to be in, but Bazza is there waiting for one of these to make a mistake. He's hoping obviously it's going to be Frowney, so that himself and his teammate can get on that podium. But Frowney now back up into P2, so Frowney and Scott really are having a battle and swapping. This P2, Scott is not finished, he's still there. Now Scott's going to have a look up the inside, or is Frowney going to defend it? I think Scott might just be able to squeeze his car into that little bit of a gap, and he has. So Scott has got the inside line here, although Frowney, it doesn't really bother him. Frowney's going to go around the outside. Turn 1 does seem to be able to cope with the you're going around the outside there. It's not one of those corners where position is key, so just taking the inside line isn't necessarily the best one for you. As we just saw Frowney there all the way around the outside at turn 1, and he's managed to hold on to P2. Scott then dropped to 3 with Bazza in 4th. These three I think are going to be fighting all the way to the end of this race. Wayne G in 5th. It's just not quite getting close enough, is he? There is quite a gap opened up. Aussie Roost just behind him, so these two swapping and changing as well. Pete just in 7th, we can see, has picked up a penalty, half a second. That's going to allow Thingy-Majig with his wobbly wheels to get by Pete. Remember, Pete took the P7 away from Thingy-Majig because Thingy-Majig had a penalty to serve. So we'll just follow Pete and Thingy through as if the cameraman catches up. So yeah, Pete serves his penalty. Thingy-Majig goes through to take P7 as they hit turn 14 and the hairpin. So Thingy goes through there in 7th with Pete in 8th. Dizzy Rip down in 9th with Enzo, Jack, Phaser, Molepiece and DB. So no real change at the back of the grid. Up at the front, Harry Poppins, well, he's just having a bit of a day out, isn't he? It's just a bit of a track day for him. Loving it. Big gap. Because it's a replay, we obviously can't see what the gap is in seconds, but you're probably looking 7 seconds, something like that, between Harry Poppins and Frowney. I mean, that is a guess, obviously. But Harry Poppins not really put a foot wrong. Led right from the beginning and has not looked back. So he's enjoying his outing here in Switzerland, or make-believe Switzerland. Well, we know Switzerland is a place, but the track is obviously make-believe. Pity. Fantastic looking track. I may be thinking about making it. Wouldn't that be cool? I can just see the F1 cars terrorising around here. So that's Harry Poppins race pretty much in the bag. Frowney and Scott and Bazza though, their positions are not determined yet. Although Frowney's in P2, Scott is in P3. That's well, I wouldn't like to put my 50p as to where that's where they're going to finish, because Scott and Frowny are just constantly changing positions with Bazza. Bazza now actually looks like he's come alive a bit more. Frowny staying out of the way. I think he's going to let these all looking a bit tight there. I thought Bazza was going to try and squeeze in between the two of them. He still is trying to squeeze in between the two of them. Scott's got the inside line. Bazza is trying to follow him through. Bazza is tight on that inside now. Frowny going to still go all the way around the outside. He really doesn't care, does he? Frowny now on the inside as we go into turns 3 and 4. It is Scott who has now taken up P2. Frowny dropped back into P3 and Bazza back into P4, so it's as we are used to seeing them, but Bazza just suddenly woke up and decided he was going to have a bit of this. He's been sitting there quite patiently for the last 3-4 laps, letting the two guys in front of him battle away. Maybe he's thinking they're going to wear their tyres out a lot quicker. Let's have a look at the tyres. So Harry Poppins, what, 10-15% wear at the front. Scott is about the same. In fact, looking at the tyres, they are all pretty much the same. Wayne G looking after his tyres a lot better than the guys in front. However, he's not going to catch them. Aussie Rooster, he's about the same as the guys. So all tyre wear is not too bad actually. Yeah, so the tyre wear is not too bad. So Wayne G 5th with Aussie Rooster and Thingamajig and Pete following him around turn 16, 17 and through 18, and then on to this straight. 765 metres this straight from the exit of turn 18 to the entry of turn 1, so it's a good long straight. Into turn 1 we go with Aussie Rooster chasing Wayne G down. Thingamajig just sitting behind him, the wheel still wobbling on his car. Pete is down in 8th with Dizzy Rip, Enzo Jack, then Phaser, Molepiece and DB. Lonely races for those guys. And we can say pretty much the same for Harry Poppins. Bit of a lonely race out there on his own, hard to keep his concentration. But he's got the fastest lap as well, a 1:33.5, so Harry Poppins really is enjoying this track, and well, he's just not going to get caught, is he? Well, the battle now, well, we have now picked up some penalties, so Scott in P2 serving a 1 second penalty. Bazza now has moved up into 3rd, soon to be P2 with Frowny. He has picked up a ½ second penalty but not served it yet. Scott keeps the inside line and stays in P3, so now then things are starting to warm up now. We have one more lap to go after this, as Frowny now drops to 4th with Bazza in 2nd. Remember, Bazza has just sat in 4th position for about the last 5 or 6 laps, but Bazza has now taken up P2 after the penalties were served. Frowny's still fighting though. Frowny now moves up into P2. Well, it's just chop and change, isn't it? What is going on? Bazza retakes P2. Frowny drops into 3rd. Scott in 4th. Now, Scott doesn't really have to go too mad now, does he? Because Frowny will have to serve that penalty. We are on the last lap, and if you're going to get a penalty, you do not want to get it on the last lap. And I bet Frowny is absolutely cussing and cursing, because he knows as soon as he serves that ½ second, if Scott stays where he is, then Scott will take P3, and it will be Bazza and Scott teammates finishing 2nd and 3rd in this race. Harry Poppins has already pretty much got the race won. Bit of a flash of the lights there from Frowny, whether that was just an acknowledgement to the guys around him of the racing. So let's just have a look. Scott should just go through as Frowny serves his penalty, but Frowny's staying on the inside, and it's not as easy as I thought it was going to be. I thought Scott was a lot closer than that, and Frowny has managed to hold on to P3. We're just going to go up and watch Harry Poppins as he's going to cross the line and take the checkered flag. Well done to Harry Poppins, very convincing win. Bazza really came to life in the last 2 laps. Bazza takes second with Frowney third with Scott fourth. What a fantastic race between those 3 guys. Aussie Rooster across the line in 5th, Thingamajig 6th, Pete is 7th, Wayne G 8th, Dizzy is 9th, Enzo Jack will cross the line in 10th with Molepiece, he's going to come home in 11th. Oh, and we've finished early, what a shame. Not quite sure what happened there, but we did get the main bulk of the result, so apologies for that's caught me out a little bit actually. So that was race 1 here in Switzerland, so hopefully you can join me very shortly for race 2. See you soon.